Hello there, everyone, and welcome to your weekly MTA plan work videos for Queens Subways and the Long Island Railroad for the weekend of June 8th, 2018, going until Monday, June 11th, 2018. I just want to quickly mention that this could be the busiest weekend in general of the summer for the Long Island Railroad, the subways, and even, of course, I'm going to have to mention this New Jersey Transit. Yes, that is correct. I'll get into the reasons why NJT could get a lot of people riding this weekend. Also, I just want to quickly mention that Metro North, they're going to be busy this weekend too. So, without further ado, I'm going to get into the Queens Subways first before I get completely off track, because many of you know on this channel Queens comes first. So without further ado, let's see how the subways are going to be doing this weekend in Queens. I want to quickly mention 7 will be available this weekend, but please keep in mind Times Square shuttle will not run overnight. I always like to do the 7 first lately because you never know at the 7. The MTA could just screw everybody and ruin one of the main lines of reliability here in Queens. So 7 is a very important line, and thankfully, because of the subway series this weekend, the MTA said, well, we're going to see a lot of increased ridership this weekend, so no need to do any plan work on the 7 this weekend if they know Yankees and Mets fans are going to be going to Willets Point, Citi Field for the 3-game series. So gotta get that out of the way. Another weekend without M-Train service. And this is a bad weekend for it because, as I just said, Yankees versus Mets are this weekend. Why would the MTA not have the M-Train available this weekend? Begins tonight at 8:30, so thankfully, if you need any M-Train service, you will have it. But once you get back from Citi Field tonight, if you're going to the game, and all this weekend, because Saturday it's 7 o'clock, and then Sunday it's 8 o'clock, it's on ESPN, there will be no M-Train service for another weekend yet again. Then and all between 71st Avenue in Forest Hills and the Downstate Exit Street in Brooklyn, due to signal improvements. I'm going to say this again for another weekend. For service to Queensboro Plaza, please take the ER or 7 train. And for service to Court Square 23rd Street, please take the E train. I hate saying that every weekend, but I have to get the information out there. Service will resume on Monday morning at midnight, hopefully June 11th. I don't know what time they resume service, but they do resume service for the Monday morning commute as always. So get that out of the way. How's the R doing this weekend? Let's find out. Beginning at 5:30 in the morning, that's tomorrow, June 9th, and going until midnight, June 10th, 71st Forest Hills bound R train, 71st Avenue Forest Hills bound R trains will be running express from Roosevelt Avenue, Jackson Heights, to, of course, 71st Avenue, due to signal modernization. If you need any local service between Jackson Heights, Roosevelt Avenue, and Forest Hills 71st Avenue, please take the next westbound train from Forest Hills 71st Avenue. I cannot stress this out enough, because if you take the Q60, that's a big problem, because your trip could get delayed. So it's best not to take the Q60. Now, if you are going to the Queens Center Mall this weekend, as an example, I didn't mention this in the PowerPoint, but if you need service at all to the Queens Center Mall this weekend, you could do that. You could go and take the next westbound train from Forest Hills 71st Avenue. You also have the Q58. Q58 does go in that area of Jackson Heights, Roosevelt Avenue. So if you want to take the Q58, go for it. But if not, the best thing I can recommend you do is just enjoy the express ride to Forest Hills 71st Avenue and then just go local westbound on Queens Boulevard. That's the best thing I can recommend you do if you don't want to take the Q58. Unfortunately, for people in Queensbridge, I have to bring up the Q66 later on in this presentation. But yeah, rail fanners, our trains will not be going to Jamaica at 179th Street this weekend, so I have to keep putting that there because I know a lot of the rail fanners are going to ask me, well, can we film it again? And, well, sorry guys, you can't. I apologize about that. Not me, it's the MTA. So, no rail fanning this weekend, it looks like. Sorry. Let's see how the E is doing. And I'll go to the F because the F is very important and I need to talk to the passengers on this video who go to 21st Street, Queensbridge. So, first up, we're going to talk about the E. This starts tonight at 11:45 and it goes till 5 a.m. Monday morning. Jamaica Center-bound E trains will run express from... Again, this is so stupid. This is so stupid. Why are they... That's the normal part of the run on that route. Literally, they're just saying it's going to run express. Why am I even bringing this up? Come on. That doesn't affect service. E-trains don't go local. Come on. Let's see what else we got. That doesn't impact the E either. Briarwood. Come on. I don't really want to talk about it if it's that stupid. Alright, here's something important. That I think you need to pay attention to. Jamaica Center-bound E-trains will run local from Queensboro Plaza to Roosevelt Avenue due to electrical improvements. So, if you want to do that, going until for a whole weekend, I'll quickly mention the R again. You have another option this weekend, going local between Queensboro Plaza and Roosevelt this weekend. So you have another option. That's very good news at least. So if you missed the eastbound R train, you can take the E train this weekend. That's good news. And then, unfortunately, I have to bring this up. World Trade Center bound E trains are going to be running local from Forest Hills 71st Avenue to Queensboro Plaza due to electrical improvements. So, I brought up the Q58 earlier. It looks like there's some win-win out of this. So, if you need to get any local stops this weekend, turns out, guess what? You could also take the westbound World Trade Center bound E train to go to the Queens Center Mall. So, again, Q58's an option if you don't want to go out of your way. I get that if you're already at Jackson Heights, Roosevelt. But also, you do have another option if you want to, I don't know, take the E train this weekend from Forest Hills 71st Avenue. And if you want to go to Queens Center Mall, you do have an option. And I'll also mention this to anybody taking the Q46 this weekend and wondering, oh, do I have to transfer at Forest Hills 71st Avenue just to get to Woodhaven Boulevard and get to the mall? Well, guess what? You will have another option this weekend. So that's very good news if you don't want to deal with the Q88. So I recommend any rail fanners, you might want to take a look at this because it's an interesting weekend on the E. I'm also going to recommend this to the rail fanners. So, if you can, try to rail fan this weekend on the E. Because, it's going to be interesting to see the E train running local and going to the Queens Center Mall this weekend. F train plan work. Now, I have to bring up Queensbridge, of course, later on this slide. But, here's the thing. Stillwell Avenue bound F trains are rerouted via the E after 36th Street to 4750th Street, Rockefeller Center due to track maintenance. So you can use a Jamaica-bound F train to complete your trip via transfer at 4750 Street, Rockefeller Center, or Roosevelt Avenue, 36th Street, after 12:01 a.m. Saturday. So, if you need to take a picture of this, and if you're confused, because I'm confused, best thing I can recommend you do is check the subway map, because this is confusing me as well, and I don't want to talk about it, because again, I really do want to talk about the situation going on at Queensbridge this weekend later on in the slide. But this is in depth, so let me just try to. Anybody wants to take a screenshot? Let me just double check this. Yeah, so anybody needs any information, please take a screenshot as I am talking. If you are watching this on your phone, please take a screenshot. That's the best thing I can do to recommend if you are confused and if you want to check the subway map. Please do so right now because it's going to be confusing, but I'll quickly mention Uptown F trains will skip 14th Street and 23rd Street due to signal improvements, so if you need to go to those stations, just take the next southbound train. That's all I can recommend because, again, there is no M this weekend. Alright, so Jamaica-bound F trains will be skipping Forest Hills 75th Avenue, Briarwood, and Suffern Boulevard due to signal modernization. So if you can, the best thing I can recommend you do this weekend, you can take the Q60, number 1, that's your short-term option, or the simple, easiest way to do it, and this is just my opinion, is of course going to Parsons Boulevard and take the next westbound train. That's the best thing I can recommend you do, because from what I was able to put in this slideshow, I'll double check it. Yeah, again, if you can go to Parsons Boulevard, please take the next westbound train. If you can do that, please do that. Or if you want to backtrack, go to Jamaica, 179th Street. You can transfer between platforms. I'm not too sure at Parsons you can transfer between platforms. But if you can't transfer between platforms, then just go to Jamaica 179th Street, and then you can access Suffern Boulevard, Briarwood, and 75th Avenue. I will recommend this. If you can walk from Forest Hills 71st Avenue, I really wouldn't recommend it. It's sort of more of a schlep. So if you want to have a shorter walk to 75th Avenue, as an example, please get off at Kew Gardens Union Turnpike, and you can get to the area around 75th Avenue over there if you want to get nearby Sam Ash and PC Richardson, around that area. So, yeah. Now, we have a situation here. We have a little bit of a situation here. Coney Island-bound F trains are going to be running local from 71st Avenue to Queensboro Plaza E Station due to electrical improvements. Jamaica-bound F trains are going to be running local from 21st Street, Queensbridge to Roosevelt Avenue due to electrical improvements. Both are electrical improvements. Now, another thing for rail fanners, I recommend, if you can, try to document it this weekend, because it's interesting how much anything can get documented these days with the MTA, but another segment for the rail fanners. Now, here's the thing. I don't know if they're going to screw people to Queensbridge this weekend. So if the conductor is saying the train will not be stopping at 21st Street, Queensbridge, if you're at Queensboro Plaza, you're at the Queens Center Station, please take the Q66 bus. You're going to take the northbound Flushing Main Street bus, Q66. You're going to go north. It'll take you right in front of the F train station. So if you need to get to Queensbridge this weekend and somehow, some way, MTA screws you, and let's say you're coming in from the city this weekend and, I can't get to Queensbridge. Well, I gave you an option. Just take the Q66. Q66 does run on weekends. It definitely runs on weekends. Another unfortunate weekend without the N train. And yet again, MTA didn't plan ahead for this. MTA did not plan ahead for the people who wanted to go to the Subway Series this weekend. I'll just leave this information right here. Quickly want to remind everybody that W trains do not run on weekends, but if you want to take the 7 at the Queensboro Plaza Station or take the E train or, again, I don't want to confuse anybody. You do have your options at Queensboro Plaza, so if you can, get to Queensboro Plaza. There's 2 stations in the area, so get there by just taking buses, and I'll just simply put it for Met fans. Met Yankee fans from Astoria. You can get to the 7. Just take the buses. Now, the hectic weekend approaching for Mass Transit. First up, we have a concert tonight at Forest Hill Stadium. Belle and Sebastian. Now, let me just exit out of this PowerPoint. I have to show you all a very important email I got from the Long Island Railroad. The Long Island Railroad will be making ad stops at Forest Hills tonight for those attending the Belle and Sebastian concert at Forest Hill Stadium. And this is very important. I have to urge this out stressfully. To exit the train at Forest Hills, you must be in one of the first 4 cars. Again, to exit the train at Forest Hills, you must be in one of the first 4 cars. Take your Long Island Railroad ticket with you when exiting the station. It will be collected at Forest Hill Station. So unfortunately, I don't know what's going on. I mean, they're going to be adding temporary platforms tonight. I hope not. Especially, again, at Woodside. Railroad could screw Yankee and Met fans tonight. So I'm hoping the MTA doesn't screw people. We'll just quickly go back to the slideshow. All right, so you have Pride on the Beach. You have Pride on the Beach this weekend at Long Beach. Yes, Long Beach this weekend. I'm going to urge everyone, in general, for all these events, please plan extra time ahead. So, I'm going to, again, mention Pride on the Beach, Long Beach this weekend. You have Yankees versus Mets, the Subway Series, City Field at Willets Point. You have the Belmont Stakes, where Justify the horse, he's trying to become the Triple Crown winner. The first time, if he does successfully win, since 2015, California Chrome winning the Triple Crown, of course. Belmont Stakes will be in Elmont this weekend. I'll be this Saturday, tomorrow, June 9th. U2 concert, Nassau Coliseum. Now, why am I bringing this up? Well, here's the thing. There could be an increased amount of ridership this weekend on the N70, N71, N72. Nice bus. There could be an increased amount of ridership. But also, I'm going to quickly mention to any Uber or Lyft drivers, this could be a good weekend for you because after the concert, you may be picking up people at Nassau Coliseum to take them over to, let's say, I don't know, Mineola, as an example, for more frequent service. So, if you're going to the U2 concert this weekend, the best thing I can advise you to do, the closest mainline station from Nassau Coliseum is Mineola. So if you can get to Mineola, to ask your Uber or Lyft driver to take you to the Mineola Long Island Railroad Station. If the N70, 71, 72 is having any problems, the best thing I can recommend you do, if you're going to be using mass transit, just take Uber or Lyft. That's all I can say, because you don't want to support the taxi companies. They will rip you off. They will rip you off. I don't know about All Island. All Island does give you a set flat rate, but I don't know how they work. But again, as I'm going to say this again, please ask your Uber or Lyft driver on the app to go to the Mineola station, because if you go to Hempstead, it's a sketchy area at night, and I really wouldn't recommend it anyway, considering that, because of Belmont, there's only going to be 2-hour service this weekend, which I'll get into that later on. So, once again, Mineola is the way to go to and from the concert if you're going to be taking an Uber or Lyft. Alright, Puerto Rican Day Parade in Midtown. That will be taking place this Sunday, June 10th. And then, unfortunately, you have Hot 97 Summer Jam. I'm saying unfortunately because this event should have been held last week. I'm sorry. If there were so many events planned, and the same thing with U2, why couldn't U2 schedule their concert last week? Nothing big was going on. You have all these other events. And same with Belle and Sebastian. Why couldn't Belle and Sebastian have their concert last week when nothing was going on? Those 3 events could have been accommodated last weekend when nothing big was going on. They couldn't figure out that mass transit's going to be already backloaded as it is. And I brought up the U2 concert because, again, people could be taking Uber or Lyft to head over to Nassau Coliseum for Mineola. I'm at a loss for words. I'll quickly mention, if you go to Hicksville, might be going a little bit out of your way. So I just wanted to say, Mineola, go to Mineola. Yeah, Hot 97 Summer Jam at Life Stadium will be taking place in East Rutherford, New Jersey, Sunday night. NJT does have a plan for people who are going to be using mass transit to get over to Hot 97 Summer Jam. So, with that out of the way, I will take you to the Long Island Railroad's website. And then I'll take you over to NJT regarding Hot 97 Summer Jam. Okay, so the good news is the Long Island Railroad planned ahead. They knew that this was going to be a busy weekend. I mentioned this in the last slide at the PowerPoint. Main line will not be affected this weekend. Alright? Ronkonkoma branch, thankfully no G's. So finally, a weekend without cheese buses. That's the good news, it looks like. Unless the railroad screws us last minute, I may have to do an emergency live stream here on YouTube. I can't do it on Periscope because then it will not get out fast enough. But yeah, at the moment, looks like no service is touched except the Hempstead branch, which I'll have to get into that in a sec. But for the Subway Series, the good news is no positive train control this weekend. Yay! That's very good news. No PTC control this weekend. But unfortunately, it may come back next weekend. So next week I may have to update you on that. But LIRR planned ahead. Very good. And I'll just quickly mention Metro North. I'll try to bring them up. Let me try to Google them. Let's see if they have anything before I get to the LIRR. I just want to see if they have any planned service changes. Alright, so let's just double check Metro North for a sec. Yeah, so looks like I'll double check schedules for Metro North. Yes, here we go. So let's just double check to see if any extra service will be added on Metro North this weekend. Looks like there is no extra service. Let me just double check the schedules. Yeah, at the moment we don't have any extra trains for the Puerto Rican Day Parade on Sunday, but of course the Long Island Railroad is being efficient with its communications lately. So, LIRR will provide extra trains to and from Belmont Park, with the possibility of a sellout for the 150th running of the Belmont Stakes. Of course, as Justified tries to go for the Triple Crown, customers are advised to purchase their admission ticket to the racetrack at Ticketmaster.com before buying railroad tickets. Only customers with admission tickets will be allowed to board the trains to Belmont once the event is sold out. After the stake race, return trains, will leave early 15 minutes until the park closes. To maintain orderly travel for those attending the Belmont Stakes, alcohol will not be allowed on the trains or station platforms this weekend. The MTA police will be around this weekend at the Belmont Park train station. Then, of course, you have the timetable. Again, I'll urge you all, please, if you can, pick up a timetable if you're going to Belmont this weekend. Get it online. Now, this is going to affect the Hempstead branch. Tomorrow, from 3 to 10, Hempstead branch train service will be reduced from hourly to every 2 hours to accommodate extra service to and from the Belmont Stakes. So there is a special timetable. Pine Power was showing it on his video, but I will not be showing it. And then, of course, you have U.S. Open. I'll do a video about that on Wednesday because the real U.S. Open does not start in Shinnecock Hills until Thursday, June 14th. So I have to do a video on Wednesday, June 13th regarding that. Yes, you have the Belmont schedule, the Pride on the Beach schedule, the Puerto Rican Day Parade. There's going to be extra trains on the Ronkonkoma branch this weekend. So, yes, let me just double check. Yep, like I figured, the PTC. Hey, is there PTC this weekend? This is the special timetable they have for the PTC. My apologies, everyone. There is PTC this weekend. Looks like the half-hourly service will be kept this weekend. That's very good news. So that's pretty much it for the schedules. Lastly, I will be talking about Hot 97 Summer Jam. New Jersey Transit will offer rail shuttle service this Sunday, June 10th. So let me just zoom this in so then that way you can do that. Alright, on Sunday, June 10th, NJT will offer rail shuttle service to MetLife Stadium for the Hot 97 Summer Jam 2018. There will be no service from the Meadowlands to Hoboken until the last 3 scheduled trains of the night, where direct service is not available. Passengers must take a Sports Line shuttle train to Secaucus and then transfer to a Hoboken-bound train. And if you hear any landscaping in the background, I apologize, everyone. My neighbor's probably getting landscaping done today. So there is, of course, a Meadowlands service schedule here. So, a couple highlights. Service to MetLife Stadium will begin at 4:38 p.m. from Secaucus. So if you're going to be coming from Penn Station, you're going to want to take a westbound train to Secaucus Station and then transfer to the Meadowlands shuttle. So that will be the train you are going to take. Final Meadowlands-bound train will depart from Secaucus at 8 p.m. I do not want to stress this out again. The final Meadowlands-bound train will depart from Secaucus at 8 p.m. The last train from the Meadowlands Sports Complex will not depart Meadowlands Station any earlier than 12:42 a.m. if the event ends early. From what I've heard from Hot 97 WQHT, the event could go on until 1 a.m. in the morning. But the good news is you will not be stranded. You will not be stranded at MetLife Stadium. You will be able to get to Secaucus and then transfer for an eastbound train to Penn Station. Customers are strongly advised to plan ahead and carefully check rail schedules for service from Secaucus to Penn, New York, and Hoboken Terminal after the event. Customers can also use PATH service to get to Hoboken. Please note the PATH will not be cross-honored. Customers traveling on NJT trains to Meadowlands should purchase their round-trip tickets from their originating station to the Meadowlands Sports Complex to avoid delays boarding trains. Tickets purchased on the trains will include a $5 surcharge for each ticket. There is a stadium bag policy. So it looks like the bus route for NJT 354 will not be operating this weekend, but Coach USA from the Port Authority. So if you'll be at the Port Authority, Coach USA bus number 351 will take you to MetLife this weekend. Alright, so that's going to pretty much wrap it up for another week of service changes. I don't know how the railroad's going to look next weekend, but hopefully there will not be any work between Ronkonkoma and Hicksville next weekend again. If there is, I'll let you all know about that. Once again, please, if it's the rails, if it's the buses, if it's the subways, even if you're traveling by car, I'm going to urge everyone, please plan extra travel time this weekend. I cannot stress this out urgently. It's going to be the busiest weekend for transportation for the entire year probably, and I don't want anybody, well, for the New York area I mean, but please plan extra travel time. I'm not going to stress this out enough. So, if you are going to any of the events this weekend, enjoy them, have a great time, and as always, until the next video, everyone, take care.